Okay, so now I am browning the chicken. You'll see that I'm adding the drumsticks to the hot oil. And this is canola oil that I'm using for browning the chicken. Now these are going to brown on both sides. The chicken will not be done because it's going to go in the oven to continue making the smothered chicken. Now this only takes for browning about 1, maybe 2 minutes on both sides. Not very long for browning. That oil temperature, as the temperature of the oil when you're browning the chicken, is the temperature that you would use for frying chicken. You see how that doesn't take very long? Simply turning it over and it's browned on the first side. It looks like it's done, but it's not. It's got that crispiness that gets on the that you'll see on the outside of the skin. Again, that's how you seal in the juices to make a very moist chicken. And this is a wonderful way to, if you want something smothered with chicken, or you see how crispy that is? That's because the temperature of the oil is if you were frying chicken. Now after these are done, what we're going to do now is we're taking the drumsticks out. We're going to put those in the roaster for it to go into the oven. And now I'm going to brown the chicken thighs. Putting breast side down. And we'll brown these the same way we did for the thighs, for the chicken, the drumsticks. You see how crispy that is on top? That's the way your chicken will look when you're making smothered chicken. And you notice that when I took the drumsticks out, we simply put them right into the roaster. No need to put these on a paper towel. That little bit of oil from the chicken, that's going to help make a wonderful gravy for the chicken. And those are ready to go in the roaster. So now we have all of the chicken in the roaster. I have a measuring cup with 1 cup of water, and I've added 2 teaspoons of flour. We're going to pour that all the way around the chicken. This is how we're going to make a delicious gravy. Now to this, I'm adding white onions and bell peppers right on top of the chicken. This is going to add a wonderful flavor as the chicken cooks in the oven. So we have that, and now it's time to cover. We're going to cover the chicken with a layer of parchment paper. My preference is to use the parchment paper on top, and then I like to add foil on top of the parchment paper when I'm baking meat in the oven. We're going to seal that off. This is going to bake in the oven on 350, sealed, and I'll bake that for 1 hour in the oven. Depending on the size of your chicken, you will need to check to see if the chicken is done. So now I have my hot water. I have 2 cups of hot water. I'm adding the smoked turkey legs. I'm adding 1 package of Lipton French onion soup. And I have seasoning. I have onion powder, garlic powder, and I have adobe seasoning as well. That's the stock. That's been cooking for about 30 minutes. Now it's time to add our other seasoning. We're going to add at the bottom of this 2 capfuls of apple cider vinegar. Now I decided while cooking this cabbage not to add the bell pepper and onion. There's going to be a lot of flavor without that. I have 2 tablespoons of butter. And now I'm going to add my cabbage. I've cut the cabbage in strips. You can make them in strips or you can cut them in cubes. And next I am adding additional seasoning on top of the cabbage because we need flavor within that cabbage, additional flavor in the cabbage while it's cooking. So I have cayenne pepper that I'm adding. And you'll season the cayenne, add the cayenne pepper to your taste. Now I'm adding the collard green seasoning. This will look like a lot, but I assure you it's not a lot. Then we're adding more garlic powder, onion powder, and then I'm adding a pinch of salt. So that's going to cook down. We're going to cover that. We're going to let that simmer. And now we're going to go on to the next vegetable. Now before I start the next vegetable, I did want to stir the cabbage a little bit. It's been cooking for about 20 minutes. I'm going to let this continue to cook. It has a little bit of a crunch to it. I don't want it mushy, but I do want to take off that little bit of crunch. It has some crunch, but not too much. So I turned that down. So now I have my skillet